Hello, Scott Markley here, pastor of First Baptist Church of Lake Wales. As you may have heard, we are reopening our campus to church services on May 17th. We've published a document telling you the principles that guided us toward this decision. Now we want to share with you by this video some instructions and expectations you might have as you arrive here for worship services on that Sunday or any Sunday thereafter. We assume you'll arrive and park your car or vehicle somewhere out in one of our parking areas. After you do, we invite you to put on your mask. The mask may be a homemade variety like I have here, or you may have one of more medical grade. If you don't have a mask, we have a very limited number of those to make available to you. So don't worry if you want a mask and don't have one. Please still come to church services with us and we'll give you that mask. Please don't stockpile them at home though. We have them in limited number. So whether you're an individual or a family, get your mask on and come on into service. It's important for you not to congregate in the parking lot either before or after the services. As churches that have already begun meeting have explained, this is one of the more dangerous times to pass the contagion. A time when people might assemble and be more relaxed and even take their mask off. So I encourage you to put those masks on and then make your way to the church building. As you do, you'll notice as you come in some of the entrances that there are some signs that we've posted that include some of the CDC guidelines given about how to stay healthy during this pandemic. It'll say, notice, avoid contamination. That will remind you to wash your hands. You can bring your own disinfectant and we'll have some inside for your hands. Cover your coughs and sneezes. Avoiding close contact, keeping that 6-foot spacing distance from your household group. Avoid touching your face and reminding you there is hand sanitizer, and then staying home if you're sick or if you've traveled to one of those hot spots. We'd invite you to stay away from our church for now. Now after that, you'll walk in and there will be a greeter.
Welcome to First Baptist.
Well, thank you. They'll hold a sign greeting you. At this point, you're exchanging smiles under your mask and not handshaking, but greeting each other with waves or signs like this. Thank you, Mr. Greeter. As you arrive in the church building, you'll see also large signs like this that have the same information that were on the smaller signs placed around campus, particularly on the outside. As you walk down the hallway toward the worship center, you'll notice the water fountains continue to be wrapped, but there will be water bottles here if you would like a small water bottle to take in the service to wet your whistle or throat as you sing. Oh, yes, and of course, there are still the hand sanitizers we always have. They'll still be here. They're fully loaded for you if you want to use them at any time. In the bathrooms, there will also be signs reminding you to wash your hands 20 seconds after using the bathroom so that you can make sure you're not carrying any contaminants with you. On the floor, there's signs just to remind us to keep apart, 6 feet apart from other households and other individuals. There'll be a sign here that will tell you a QR code. If you have your app there, you can swipe and scan that QR code, and you can bring up a digital bulletin. Digital bulletin's also available on our website, fbclw.com. You can access it there. The digital bulletin includes not only information about church life, but also includes the sermon notes. So they were emailed to you on the website, and there will be a QR code for those that want to access it that way. Once you arrive in the worship center, you'll see perhaps some other people around here. I don't know how many will be here that day. We know that even at 25% capacity, given our spacious worship center, we can fit about 200 people in here. You'll come anytime between 10:15 and 10:30. Our service starts at 10:30, and if you're not coming yet, that's perfectly fine. We want you to come when you feel it's a right time and a safe time for you to come. So when you come, you'll notice that the pews have been marked. They're marked for proper spacing. Every other pew will be skipped. And then once you sit within a pew, the pews will be marked off so that there won't be another family unit beside you without appropriate spacing. So you'll be 6 feet apart from pew to pew, and also 6 feet spaced between those who might share the same pew. In our fellowship hall, there will be an option for families of younger children to meet in there. They'll gather around round tables, and they'll have activities that Candace McKeon, our children's ministry director, will have available for you. They're going to do some songs, interactive, get the children up and moving a little bit. We know it's a long time for them to sit for 75 minutes or more. And so they will be in the fellowship hall, and those activities will be there, and those tables will be spaced out appropriate distances from one another. So for those parents that choose that option, that's certainly possible for you to do that, as well as also worship in here. And of course, this entire worship center, in fact, all of our facilities will be thoroughly cleaned and disinfected prior to your arrival. In fact, we'll even have a housekeeping staff member on duty that day to wipe down bathrooms and other surfaces at various intervals throughout the day while we're here gathering for worship. Now, if you're comfortable keeping your mask on and that's what you prefer to do, then you can wear your mask the entire time. We're not requiring that. We're recommending a mask, particularly for arrival and departure. I'm not going to preach in a mask, I'll be honest with you. That would be a little bit difficult. My voice might be muffled. Remember, we're also going to be live streaming on all those same 4 platforms. So even if you come this Sunday and decide not to or cannot for another reason, come the following Sunday, that's fine. We'll still be on fbclw.com, YouTube channel for First Baptist Church Lake Wales, Facebook page of First Baptist Church Lake Wales, and also locally here on Comcast Channel 6. So you keep watching live stream whenever you're not here. Also, I would tell you that the offerings will be collected as you leave. It will be a drop box or a person holding plate. You won't have to touch anything. No plates will be passed. You'll simply place your offering in that. And during the greeting time, well, that'll be very different. We'll simply, I guess, wave at one another. Again, maybe perhaps smiling with or without a mask. The other activities of our church are being suspended through the month of May, perhaps beyond. We don't know yet. That means Life Connection groups will be done by Zoom or in other ways that those Life Connection group leaders have determined. Our nursery care will not be offered. You will bring your children with you here. There will be no children's church either for the month of May. Wednesday night activities, other than that live stream that we're presenting in the youth, how they gather by Zoom, that will not be happening. A collegiate Zoom is also starting, so if you're of that age, contact the church and you can be a part of that Zoom group that's beginning even this Wednesday. As you depart, it's very important that, again, you depart in an orderly way. You'll be dismissed section by section from this worship center so that you're not clustered and congested as you move down hallways or in the foyers. We'd ask you to move onto your vehicles, not to congregate in the foyers or here in the worship center, but to go ahead and move safely to your vehicles and then communicate by phone or whatever ways you've been communicating with one another. These are some safeguards we've taken to protect you. We hope you see that our desire is that you would love your neighbor as yourself through all of this, and you would be mindful of these safeguards we presented to you. Guidelines aren't meant to restrict you or to confine you or to hurt your worship experience in any way, but rather to keep us all safe as we gather again in this place to worship the Lord. I remember the psalmist who said, "I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord." I'm glad we'll be doing that this Sunday, May 17th. I hope you'll join us.